Hi everybody, welcome to Midweek. We're here today, just want to talk about one of the values of our church. I'm going to give you the term partnership. When we think about our student ministry and all the way through, we're always thinking, but even in children's ministry, how do we partner with a family? Not how do we replace them, but actually, how do we partner together for the sake of those kids and actually for the sake of the family? And so today, we want to talk about partnership. In particular, two of these ladies have graduating seniors. They've been dreaming about this for 18 years, probably longer, but there's a lot of people that have played a role in your kids, certainly your family and friends, but Caleb, you do. This is your second graduating class.
It is, yeah.
That you've had all the way through. So there's just such a, reflect a little bit. What is this class, the impressions, you just had a retreat with a lot of them. As you reflect on them, what are some of the things that come to your mind?
Yeah, I think it's been fun to just see them, consistency and connection with each other grow. They've had a few different leaders come and go through their stay, and so to see them rely on each other and then still be willing to connect and stick with it has been huge. I feel like my focus was on that first class so much that this class I was like, oh, I have plenty of time. Like, oh, I got time to, see them and see that stuff grow. But here we are. I'm in denial probably just as much as you guys are, as far as they're actually like done with Thrive. And so, but I've been really encouraged that at this point in the year, the students that are still plugging in, even if it's can't be consistent, they got jobs and they got stuff, but they're here, they're showing up Sundays, they're still invested. It means a lot because there's so many different things pulling them, and it's hard to finish well. And so the kids that I find that are here at this point of the year, they're locked in, they're solid. And so all of them, each of them, I can see things. I'm just excited, and it gives me hope for the future of where they're headed.
So as they head out of here, and they're going to be heading to a lot of different places, some of them are going out of state colleges, some of them are going to be working here in town. But there's been some cultural things, there's been some values. What is it that you hope they never forget?
Especially those that have, families here in the church, they've grown up here. When we have kids that through the high school, I think we have those aha moments where they go from just, this is what my family believes, this is what I believe, and I have the reasons for it. And that's where I hope as they encounter, not that they have all the right answers, not that they don't fail and make some dumb decisions along the way, but that moment of where their relationship with Christ is theirs, and that love for Jesus and His Word is something that I really hope that it draws them back anytime they find themselves kind of stuck or lost, that they know that foundation piece is there and can always return to it, even if it's physically here at this church, where they can come back here and know what happened in these 4 years of high school.
Stephanie, you have a graduating daughter. Christy, you have a graduating son. Congratulations. That's incredible. I think this probably came a lot faster than you thought.
Yes.
It's like all of a sudden, wow, they're graduating. You both have raised your kids in an incredibly solid Christian home, but also partnering with the church. How has that partnership benefited you, or what have been some of the strengths of that?
I know for us, it was nice knowing that my children have multiple other families that speak into them in the same way we do. So they might hear something from Sean and I at home that we would like to see them do, and then they don't take it from us, but there might be another person in the church that would say the same thing, and they're like, oh, I should do this, Mom and Dad. Yeah. So I think that helps, that you've got similar messaging.
Yeah. Aligning in that. Yeah. Steph.
I think for my kids, the community. So having grown up in the church, they have friends that they've had for well over a decade, which to say that at 18 years old is pretty significant. And
very rare nowadays.
Those friendships may look different. Like Caleb said, some of them have jobs and sports and things, but they can fall back on that. My daughter was just kind of reflecting lately on, she was with a friend who she's been friends with since she was 1, and just reflecting on her complete ability to just be herself and let down with her. So in the world, there's stresses and there's fears and there's uncertainty these days, but she's just recognizing herself, the value of these deep, deep friendships that go back years and years. So I think that's been one of the biggest things that the church has offered us.
It may be a similar answer to that, but I find in certain eras of your life, you reflect more than others. And I think when your kids are getting ready to graduate, you reflect. Because, it might not be next week, but at some point, they're getting ready to transition to head out, As you reflect back, what are you thankful for? It might be community, it might be some other things, but what are some of the things that just stand out to you? It's like, might have done a few things differently, but what I'm really thankful for is...
In terms of their faith journey, I've been thankful that they had the chance to wrestle with what they believe, that our church provides a lot of grace and freedom for what it looks like to walk with Jesus, and it provides safety to question, like, all right, my parents have believed this my whole life, and I've come to church with my parents my whole life, but I'm not sure. How do I know for sure? And so Maddie's had several different leaders come alongside, give her books, like even still, like leaders that aren't even her direct leader. Several have given her books to read and just talked with her, met her for coffee whenever she's wrestling with something. And like Christy said, that outside voice, when she's come home, she often hasn't arrived at a conclusion that we may have already shared with her. But hearing it from someone else at this age is just key. They have to have that. It doesn't matter if you're a perfect parent, which I'm certainly not. They need people speaking into their lives, and they need the safety to wrestle with that. So I'm thankful that that's been her story. Here.
Yeah. I'm thankful, just looking at some of the things Jaron has had to overcome, just people coming alongside him. 2 ACL surgeries is not what you want a kid to go through before they're 18. But the fact that he had family members and people within our church body that would stand with him and help him maybe let go of some of those dreams that he can't go and do now, physically can't go and do, but they would also encourage him on all the good things that God could have planned for him.
Yeah. I was remarkably impressed at how he handled the disappointment of those. Those are hard to handle at any stage.
Yeah.
But at his age, he was amazing. And I do think it reflects on the family. As your kids are going out, there's probably some cultural or maybe what I would say is family values or habits. What do you hope that they take out of your home that is kind of like, I think from one of our family values is loyalty. Not blind loyalty, but loyalty. What are some of the things that you hope, maybe even out of the church or your family, that it's like, I believe this will stay with you for a long time? What are those habits or values? I know
for us is we want our kids to understand the value of working hard, no matter who's watching them. Because we've instilled in them, God's always watching you, like he's always there. And so it doesn't matter if you're doing something and your boss isn't paying attention, you still need to do it, and you need to do it well, and you need to do it, to the best of your ability. And so that's a value I hope they'll continue to learn, because you do continue to learn and grow in that. And we hope he'll take that with him.
They take that value and they'll be the most hireable individual in the world. Because everyone that I know that is hiring people, work ethic is like their highest need. Yeah, that's great. Steph?
Yeah, I think having 4 girls, they're vastly different, but they have certain specific God-given strengths and qualities, and so I hope they would just continue to lean into those and then use those. They would use their kindness, their generosity, their love for others, their ability to see when others are hurting, prayer. I was looking back over my seniors, kind of the accomplishment she's gotten through the years, and you can see a heart of kindness and compassion, and so I would hope that she would go out into the world and use that to bring glory to God.
I think one of the values that I've seen in you as a parent is you have this amazing ability to see the individual strengths of each of your kids and not force them to have the same strength. And what a gift, honestly, to your kids, that they are celebrated for their individual strengths, not forced into a mold. And you've done a great job with that. What do you pray for?
Oh, that's easy for me. I was praying it this morning. Just first from my own heart, that it would be prepared to love them well as they do make their own decisions, as they branch out away from our home, even if those decisions don't fully line up with what I would hope for them, that I would be prepared to love them well, to champion them as they grow. And then just that they would find community out there that maybe even comes close to what they have here. So Maddie's going out of state, that she would be able to find a church and a spiritual community, a group of believers that are even remotely close to what she's gotten to grow up with.
Yeah.
I pray that he will continue to put God first, that he'll continue to develop that relationship with him, and continue to go to him when he's dealing with whatever hardship or different thing he's going to come along and run into as he moves into this next phase.
Caleb, as you pray for him, what are you praying for?
Yeah, as I think of this class and any graduate class that comes through, we talk so much about friendship and how hard it is, especially in high school, to have deep friends. Even when they get to high school, when you go to different schools and like you have to restart, or it's hard to go deep. And so I pray for friendships, meaningful and with meaningful same values, and even especially when it comes to biblical truth, because even Christians can have so many different views. So just the friends that line up with kind of that foundation I talked about. And two is just a love for the church, a willingness to commit to seeking that community and as the church body and getting plugged in, not to be just consumers, but ready to use their gifts as they go out and plug in and let God use them, and not just be sitting back and watching what's going on around them.
Speaking of partnering, I was talking to one of my grandchildren the other day, and he was telling me about how he was serving in children's ministry. And once again, honestly, I was so thankful for what you all do, because from a very young age, we're partnering, and that little guy is being taught a servant's heart. You know, and by the way, he loves it, and I think that's why your children are always looking forward to, where am I serving?
Yeah.
Which is pretty rare at that age.
Yeah.
Thank all of you, because you represent. How many graduates do we have this year?
We're just over 20, and I'm tracking down a few more that aren't necessarily involved with Thrive, but they're part of our church. So we want to capture all of them,
over
and
20
celebrate them.
graduates.
So, yeah.
So church, that's what we would love to have you pray for, because we partner with these families. So we have over 20 graduates, and that's not even counting. I just talked with a dad who's got a son that's graduating from college, and then a grandfather today that's got a granddaughter that's graduating from college. And man, they got the world in front of them. And it's not the easiest world to grow up in, but with the church and godly families, we're going to be a great partnership. So let's pray for them. So glad you were with us. We'll see you again this weekend. We're back in Galatians again, and we love you. Thanks for partnering with us.